Hello YouTube, this is Ben Gessel. I'm at least making one more video tonight. At least maybe another one, but I doubt it. We'll see. Um, so this one's going to tie in a little bit more with what I was just talking about a little bit earlier today. Um, about media and stuff. And I was kind of getting at Emma Watson a bit. But this one's going to have a little bit more to do with... well, you'll see. I'm just going to get right into it. Okay, so it's really obvious. I think it should be really obvious to anybody. I kind of feel like this shouldn't even be worth mentioning. But what some people are going to talk about it. Maybe. Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry to insult anybody's intelligence here. I apologize in advance. But yes, I am white. I know it's hard to believe, but I'm white. And so, I'm just, you'll see why I mentioned this here in just a second. So, I was mentioning about how bad movies have gotten. Everybody, a lot of people are mentioning this, and we'll keep mentioning it over and over and over again. I don't think it's going to go away until Jesus is here again and we have an entirely different structure for everything. But, yeah, so we do what we can, right? Sometimes that means just dropping, well, I don't know. I just stick with the older stuff. Or at least somewhat older. And skeptical of blockbusters and whatever. So the media has a lot of influence on all of us. The question is how much influence it has, based on how much we watch whatever we're watching, or how much we're playing whatever we're playing with video games, and or other kinds of media, newspapers, magazines. I think books are kind of a little bit not so much what I'm talking about, but news and current events and magazines, and that's a bit more what I'm talking about. Books are a different deal, but for the most part. But so yeah, it's movies, TV, video games, and newspapers, magazines, and the internet. The internet, especially, that's the other bit of it, and also radio, all that stuff. And so all the media stuff, at least the United States, right? Talk about the United States here. Other countries it varies quite a bit, but okay. No, this is why I mentioned that white. So I'm going to start this topic in talking about inner cities, which I haven't. Well, I'll explain my train of thought here as we go. I want you guys to consider for a second whether or not you live in an inner city, whether or not whatever race you are. Just consider the nature of the environment of inner cities, say in like South Chicago, Detroit, Bronx, Philadelphia, Baltimore, Washington D.C., East St. Louis, Compton, Oakland, there's some other ones, whatever. Okay. Cleveland, whatever. So consider what life is like in these places as much as you can, even if you haven't lived there. Because it doesn't, yeah, we get it. We get that we're not black or whatever. We get that we don't live in an inner city, many of us. We get it. But let's just consider for a moment what life is really like in those places, regardless of what race you are. So you have your fast food. Sometimes not really a whole lot of choices. You have your grocery stores that are generally cheaper, and your local barbershops, and basic services, motels, you have, chances are, probably not going to have cable. If you do, that's a priority. Yeah. Assuming you probably have internet, fortunately, thankfully. And maybe, if you do Netflix, sure. A few other things like that. And you'll have, outside of those kinds of things, again, if you have cable, that's a priority. It's like, yeah, movies and stuff. You're probably not going to have amazing schools for those folks that have kids and stuff, and you're probably not going to have the most amazing parks, but maybe you might have some great parks not too far away if you go downtown or other places in the city, just maybe not so much always where you live, and you have to, so some places you have to watch yourself and you go right when you go outside of the door. Yeah, it doesn't take too much imagination to picture this kind of stuff. Chances are you're probably not going to have a jacuzzi. Again, if you do, that's going to be a huge priority, right? And you're probably going to be better off than many folks. And we don't have to get into the cars, right? We don't have to get, there's all the other stuff that but let's just talk about food, and for a second, maybe clothes. But you're probably not going to have filet mignon every night. Probably not even fried chicken every night. Probably closer to eggs and potatoes and beans and I don't know beans, but you're probably going to have fast food mixed with some basics like that. More than likely. And that, yeah. Eggs are affordable, but again, you're not just talking about regular eggs, you're not talking about necessarily the really high quality organic or pasture raised stuff. And that's how it is for a lot of folks, regardless of race, in inner cities or in poorer areas. It's just the way things are, and I don't like it one bit, and I can't stand the thought of, there are folks that live in cities, inner city areas that maybe aren't, or they're doing pretty well, right? They're doing better than, and that's heartwarming. It's great to see people doing better. I don't like to think, it's hard for me to think personally of anybody where life is like that. It might be hard, but maybe there's some good things about it, depending on where you live, depending on the situation. But let's just talk now for a second about the media. So what kind of media? I mentioned this before in some other videos, but what kind of media do you think folks in inner cities are getting? So they're probably not going to movies very much. I don't know. Well, Americans in general are getting a lot of crap. Increasingly so. We're getting a lot of crap. And just junk news, junk movies, junk TV, reality TV. It all just bites. So again, the older stuff is the best stuff, and it's a lot of it you can watch for free on YouTube. I mean, it's hard to, but there's other alternatives. But it's just, a question of where to find those alternatives. And but in your city, you have sometimes fewer alternatives. And let's just talk for a second about Hollywood, as well as TV shows, and how they portray black folks, and maybe others as well. And I'm going to talk about some movies like The Purge here for a second. There's a Purge TV show. I don't know if many people realize how much of a stick of dynamite racial subjects are. How explosive they can be. how quickly someone can get really, really, really angry about certain inferences and ideas regarding race. And look, I might have to make a part two to this because my phone has only got so much room here. So I'll probably do part two to this in a second. But the crazy thing is what do you think is okay to say that might be racially charged? Well, we're not always sure in some respects. And so many people, this is more familiar to me than eating bread and butter. Although I haven't eaten bread and butter for a while, I did a lot when I was younger, or bagels, but it's if you're curious about some subject and you say it, but you say it in a way that maybe you shouldn't. Some people will be a bit upset, but some people will probably forgive you because they realize, oh, you meant it this way. Right? These movies coming out of Hollywood and these TV shows are, look, if Marlon Brando felt just terribly about how American Indians were treated in the movies and stuff, imagine what's going on with African Americans and others. There's so many things. At least if you can follow my train of thought. Oh, so you're saying, oh my gosh, we have so many great movies that we have so many great characters that are black. Or why is this is not an issue, right? just bear with me for a second here. All right. So it isn't necessarily just about race. It's about many other things as well. But when you have a racial stereotype, and we all know what they are, and that racial stereotype shows up in a movie, and they present it in a way that is realistic. This is how many people act, but it's a stereotype, more or less, and it's in The Purge. The Purge movies are, look, let's just be honest. More than half the movie is about race. It is. The other stuff is whatever else can cause someone to kill someone. One day of the year. I know I've mentioned another movie about The Purge before. I've made another video about The Purge movies before. But you take a stereotype, whatever it is, Asian people are shifty and they're trying to scam you. Black people are violent and they, whatever. You put it in there. You put a stereotype in there, and they, if it's not always something that's angering, but it catches folks' attention. All right, I'm gonna make another part two to this here in a second. Catch you guys in a bit. Bye.